The legend version starts like this. A 5-year-old kid in Jalisco is standing in the dark. Skinny, red-haired, too pale for the neighborhood, too quiet for the noise around him. Then a truck flies past. A shot cracks through the night, and the bullet misses his head by less than an inch. It does not kill him. It gives him a haircut. A piece of red hair falls into his hand, and the little boy does not cry. He just stares into the dark like he finally understands something. This world does not care if you are a child. It does not care if you are poor. It does not care if you are scared. If you want respect here, you have to earn it with your hands. That boy would grow up to become Canelo Alvarez. But before the belts, before the money, before the stadiums, before Mexico screamed his name, he was just the red-haired kid everybody thought they could test. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how a poor kid from Guadalajara dodged narco bounties, survived bullying, sold popsicles on buses, and turned himself into a fighter worth an estimated $180 million according to Forbes as of 2023. Canelo was born Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan on July 18, 1990 in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. The youngest of 8 children, 7 boys, 1 girl. A family full of noise, work, competition, and fists. But Canelo stood out immediately. Not because he was the strongest, not because he was the loudest. Because he looked different. Red hair, freckles, light skin. In a place where looking different can make you a target. Other kids saw him and gave him a name. Canelo, Cinnamon. At first it was a nickname. Then it became a brand. But before it became famous, it made him a target. They laughed at the hair. They laughed at the freckles. They thought the quiet kid would fold. That was their first mistake. Before Canelo made millions, he sold paletas, fruit popsicles, markets, public buses. Long days, small money, no glamour, no cameras, no applause. Just a kid learning that money does not come easy. Every coin mattered. Every sale mattered. Every day taught him the same lesson. If you want something, nobody is bringing it to you. You go get it. That is what people miss about fighters. The fight does not start under the lights. It starts in childhood. When you realize nobody is coming to rescue you. Canelo did not become a fighter because life was easy. He became a fighter because people kept testing him. The red hair made him visible. The freckles made him different. And difference attracts disrespect. So Canelo fought. At school, in the street, anywhere someone thought the red-haired kid was soft. He once said when he was little, he was always fighting, always beating the other kids up. Not because he wanted to be a bully. Because he refused to be the victim. That is where the Canelo style started. Not in a boxing gym. In the moment, a kid decided you can laugh at me, but you cannot touch me for free. Now here is where things get dark and where most documentaries skip too fast. Jalisco was not just a tough neighborhood. It was ground zero for some of Mexico's worst cartel violence. Growing up there meant you saw things no kid should see. Canelo has spoken about how drug cartels approached him, wanting him to support their activities. They wanted his name attached to their operations. They wanted a piece of the rising star, and he refused, every time. He has talked openly about receiving threats. Most people in that position would fold. Most people would pay or run or stay quiet. Canelo said no. He put his commitment to his family and his values ahead of his own safety. That takes a different kind of courage than stepping into a ring. In a ring, there are rules. On those Jalisco roads, there are none. Canelo did not grow up around normal brothers. He grew up in a house full of fighters. His older brothers boxed. They trained. They talked fighting. They lived around the sport. And Canelo watched them like a little kid watching superheroes, especially his older brother Rigoberto. When Canelo saw him fight professionally, something clicked. This was not just violence. This was discipline. This was structure. This was a way out. A street fight gets you trouble. A boxing ring gets you a future. And Canelo wanted the future. Then Canelo walked into the gym. And the gym did what the street could not do. It gave his anger a shape. The bullying became footwork. The street fights became combinations. The frustration became discipline. The red-haired kid who used to fight for respect started learning how to fight for money. Chepo and Eddie Reynoso saw something in him. Not just talent, not just speed, something colder. Canelo listened. He learned fast. He did not waste motion. He did not waste words. He watched, adjusted, repeated, again, again, again. A lot of kids like fighting. Very few kids like training. Canelo liked the work. That is what made him dangerous. At 13, Canelo started building his amateur record. And he was not fighting like a normal kid. He was calm. Too calm. Most young fighters get emotional. They rush. They swing wide. They panic when they get hit. Canelo watched. Waited. Countered. He fought like someone who had already been embarrassed enough in life and was done reacting. He was not trying to win arguments. He was trying to end them. That is what made him different early. He was not built on hype. He was built on repetition. By 15 years old, they had a problem. Canelo was too advanced for the amateurs. He had already been sharpened by the gym. He had already been raised around fighters. So they made the decision. Turn him professional. 15 years old. Most kids are thinking about school, friends, games, nothing serious. Canelo was stepping into a professional ring with grown men trying to hurt him. His professional debut came in 2005, and he won by stoppage. The red-haired kid was no longer just defending himself. Now he was getting paid to break people down. What happened next is a run that most boxers only dream about. By 2015, he defeated Miguel Cotto for the WBC middleweight title. By 2017, he won the WBA super title against Gennady Golovkin. That fight with Golovkin in September 2018 pulled over 1 million pay-per-view buys. 1 million households paying to watch the cinnamon-haired kid from Jalisco. By 2019, Canelo became the first Mexican fighter ever to win a title in 4 different weight classes after beating Sergey Kovalev for the WBO light heavyweight belt. And by November 6th, 2021, he unified all the super middleweight titles by defeating Caleb Plant. He earned a reported $40 million for that single fight. That was part of a deal with DAZN worth $365 million for 11 fights. Now, most people hear those numbers and think the story is about money. It is not. The money is just the scoreboard. The real story is about a kid who grew up in one of the most violent regions in Mexico, who looked nothing like the people around him, who sold popsicles on public buses to help his family eat, who got bullied every single day for his red hair, who watched his brothers box and decided that was his ticket out, who walked into a gym at 13 and never left, who turned professional at 15 and who told narco groups no when saying no could have cost him everything. Canelo once said, "I don't fear anyone. I've faced the best, and I want to keep testing myself against the best." That is not a line from a man who was handed anything. That is a line from a man who remembers the paleta cart, who remembers the schoolyard, who remembers the bullet that gave him a haircut instead of a funeral. The world sees the belts, the cars, the estimated $180 million fortune. But the real story is simpler. A poor red-haired kid got tired of being laughed at, so he became the one nobody wanted to stand in front of. Canelo came from Jalisco with nothing guaranteed. He was different. He was mocked. He was tested. He sold paletas before he sold out arenas. He fought bullies before he fought champions. He learned from his brothers. He gave his anger discipline. He turned his red hair from a reason to laugh into a reason to remember him. That is the rise of Canelo. Not the champion yet in this part of the story. Not the millionaire yet. Just the kid who got hit by life early and decided to hit back harder. Subscribe for more.